What is going on, guys? It's Noah here with Custom RC Mods. Today we are building the FT Mini Vector from Flite Test, another prop and slot jet. Now, if you guys know, on this channel I do have a history of prop and slot jets that's not particularly good. I've built 3 Flite Test FT22s. And overall, I just really haven't had a great experience with them. One of them was my very second airplane I flew ever, and overall I just wasn't that shocked and excited about the flight characteristics. It wasn't overly maneuverable or fast, and I felt like I just really was losing a lot of efficiency in my motor combo, and maybe my prop selection wasn't quite there. But there's no real faults against the airframe itself that I chose. I just think that maybe it was my servo placement and motor setup that I had that might not have been the most ideal. At any rate, we're going to be building the Mini Vector today just to kind of give that another go, and we're going to be using some different electronics, a different overall setup that hopefully should give us some different results or seal the fate of prop and slots on this channel forever. But I think it's worth a shot. This is a Peter Sriepel design. Before he left Flite Test, he did do this design, which is going to be interesting. He always makes very wacky designs, so I'm interested to see how this plane flies. Apparently it does really good high alpha with canards, as well as has a decent amount of speed to it. So I'm interested to see what happens with this plane. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into electronics right here. We are running the 2 SG90 servos in the Elevon configuration. This does have the option for a rudder underneath the main deck plate. But I'm just going to go for bank and yank style because I never really use rudder, especially on this where the rudder isn't going to be as useful as something like the Mustang or the Scout that actually has a real dedicated rudder. Anyway, the motor setup on this is going to be paired with a 1300 milliamp hour battery, which is a 3S, and it's from Tattu. Of course, this is what I run on pretty much all my planes. All the planes you see behind me run off some sort of 1300 milliamp hour battery. So this is designed to run off like an 800 or so. So I might have to dig back into the fuselage and push this back just so we can get everything to balance out properly. But we're going to see, we're going to find out, and hopefully it should all work out in the end. But we're definitely going to have to do some experimenting to see if this battery is going to work for this plane. And the motor setup is pretty standard if you guys have watched my recent videos, especially for the Arrow and the Sparrow. This exact combo is being used in both of those planes with great success. I really like it. It is the Sunny Sky 2207S 2100 kV motor paired with the ZTW Beetles 30 amp ESC. This gives it a lot of a power cushion. For this 30 amp, this is kind of designed to run more off of a 20 amp, but we have 10 extra amps that really I couldn't turn down for the price. It was $1 more to get this better ESC, and I sprung for it. But I'm really excited to see what you can do inside. The FT Mini Vector should have a lot more power than something like my 22 did proportionally, just because of my race quad motor that we got here. And depending on what prop will fit, I do have a wide selection of 5-inch and 6-inch props of different pitches, and maybe 2-blade or 3-blade, depending on what fits and what we can experiment with to see what works best. Anyway, for our receiver, we've got the Lemon RX, a 6-channel receiver with satellite. And if you guys do know about this channel, I have had some mixed luck with these. However, I have the satellite this time, which is something I didn't have in the past. So we're going to be trying one of these out. I normally run knockoff Spectrum AR6210s on the rest of my planes, but I'm really excited to give these another try because these are even cheaper and locally available at BuddyRC.com. So I'm really happy that these can be an option, and hopefully they will work well. But this is going to be our little test bed for this receiver. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to building. It's time to jump into the scratch build process. Of course, I've got my 2 sheets of foam right here. Should take about 1.5 or so, and that will be good. Hopefully, this plane will take less than 3 hours to put together. It is my first time building it, of course, so I'm giving myself a little bit of a time cushion. But we're going to go ahead and jump up to the GoPro, which is right above us, just like most builds, and I'll catch up with you guys after this plane is completed. See ya. Alright guys, so I just finished up the build for the FT Mini Vector, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is quite clean, and of course you can see this thing. I love the lines on this thing, these little struts on the bottom of the wings, as well as this canard and the entire just profile of these wings in general. It looks really cool, and I'm happy I built this plane. No matter how it flies, it's just a real joy to look at. Anyway, let's go through some build notes here. Pretty standard procedure. All builds have their ups and downs. In this one, the real downside is that there's no real gauge for mounting these vertical stabilizers, which really isn't a big deal. I guess you can get it pretty much perfect as it is, but in the words of Peter Streeple, you pretty much have to eyeball it when you glue this thing in with the belly pan. So other than that, I think that pretty much everything else can be repeatable and consistent. It's just something like that. You may not get it perfect, and it's just pretty much everybody sees it a little bit differently, and I would have liked it if they included a gauge just to make sure that these things are exactly the same, so I can know that it will fly dead straight, track really well, and it will have that potential, but it's not really going to be a big deal in the long run. This mini design did accept my 9-gram servos really well. I like how it's not that these servos are mounted really far back. Like on a lot of the minis, they mount the small servos really far back, so that when you mount heavier servos, it really makes you have to add a lot of nose weight here, but it's really not a big deal in this case, because these are mounted nice and central, and I just had to enlarge the servo holes a little bit and drop them in, fit right in, no problems at all. And I just want to talk about my prop selection real quick. I was planning to run this 6x45 bullnose prop, but I accidentally ordered them in clockwise rather than counterclockwise. So right now I'm just running my standard 6x45 tri-blade right here that you see me run on the Arrow and the Sparrow right there. So we're going to try that out for the Maiden. I do also have some 5-inch props that are 2-blade. That we'll try out if this doesn't work that well, but I'm pretty sure once we get these bullnose props back in the correct orientation, I'll go ahead and throw that one on there. But either way, this is a plenty fine prop for this right now, and there's nothing wrong with having a 3-blade prop on this aircraft. It's just that I'd like this nice durable bullnose on there just for a little bit later. This obviously does contribute to the sound factor, having a third blade to it. I think it sounds a little bit more mean and aggressive, and being a prop and slot by nature, it's really loud. Let's go ahead and give you guys a throttle test here. And you can hear, I didn't want to run that for a long time because it is a little bit late at night, and there's people sleeping upstairs, so let's not. But it is a very loud plane, and it sounds really cool. And so I'm excited, but I think that having a bullnose prop on the end will give it that added rigidity and potentially a little bit more thrust efficiency and longer flight times. I'm not really sure about that, but we'll go ahead and try it out. I'm going to be getting some more of these props anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and give you guys some control surface testing. You can see that this is just an Elevon design here. There is an option to do a rudder down here on this vertical stabilizer below the deck right here, but I decided just to go against it. That would take another servo. It'd draw that much more current from my ESC. Not like that'd be a problem. I have a 30 amp in this beast, and it's just, I don't really use rudder on that this much on these planes, so it's not really going to be that big of a deal anyways. So in terms of my battery placement, as you guys can see, I've actually shoved the battery all the way back into the fuselage here. Because it is a 1300 milliamp hour battery, it didn't quite balance out just having it in between these two tabs right here. So I did that, and that works really well. It's a nice friction fit, no Velcro required, but if I ever decide to run this on 4S, I don't really think I ever will, but if I do, I might have to do some modifying just to be able to get it fit. And that's one thing, when you're friction fitting batteries, it's going to be a little bit harder to go ahead and increase your range of batteries in terms of capacities and cell counts. So I kind of signed up for that, but either way, I'm really happy with the build overall. It's pretty clean. I do have some areas that we're not going to talk about that I think I could have done a little bit better in, but no build is going to be perfect, and I just have to keep reminding myself of that. Anyway, that's pretty much it. All I have for this build of the FT Mighty Mini Vector. I hope you guys enjoyed my build and initial thoughts. If you have any questions about this plane, or want to know more about the planes I build on my channel, or just about the RC hobby in general, please go ahead and comment down below. Also, I am taking video requests. If you guys would like to see a certain plane, certain hack, certain tutorial, or anything like that, go ahead and comment those down below. And please, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I really need to get my subscriber count up. I'm releasing all this content for you guys, and I would love to see you guys coming back for more and more of it. And hit that thumbs up button to show you guys, so you can show me that you really care about my videos and that you want to see more of what you're seeing right now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.